The purpose of this webinar, by the way, guys, is how to build a 10K offer, right? And a lot of you guys are going to be doing a lot more than that. It's the same thing that you're going to use to get to 100K a month, $1 million a month. I've had multiple businesses that did multiple six figures a month, and it always starts with the same base foundation, just like you were just saying, Byron, about like what's that one thing that's going to push them over the edge? Because you have multiple offers, but then you can dig into one specific element that's really going to be the one that makes them say, okay, this is why we're going to buy. Everything else is great, but this is what's going to move the needle, right? And so there can be different offers you have. So we're going to come up with like, how do you actually structure that, right? And so most people ask like how they actually reach their goal in terms of like the tactics, but the truth is like, why does it matter to you, right? There's like first is the targets, why you're even doing it. And then the second part is the actual offer itself, right? So the real question is like, why does it matter to you? Like if clients are asking for something, sometimes you got to do it just because it's what they want. But at the end of the day, it's your business and you have to structure it the way that is going to keep you moving forward, or you're going to wake up one day hating it and say, I don't want to do this anymore and close down shop. Seen it a million times. I think we all have, right? So figuring out why it matters to you. Most people don't fail because of lack of strategy. There are a gazillion strategies available on the internet right now. Just go to ChatGPT, it will tell you every step you need to take, right? But they fail because they don't stay interested and committed, right? And I've been there too. I've shut down a multi seven figure business because it just didn't align with me anymore. So clarity creates the commitment, and the commitment is what builds the results. So if you can get clear on what you're doing and introduce new offers to your clientele that excite you and that you can see can actually scale, and you're not just like pandering to them, right? And just kind of filling a gap, that's what's going to really make you stand out. And that's what's going to come through to the client, by the way, because they're going to be super sold because you are sold. Right. So it all comes back to like you being really, really sold on it. Right. And so it's not about hustle. It is about alignment, right? If you want to grow fast and grow right, you don't need balance, you need focus. And if not permanently, at least for a season, right? So saying no more often, doing the hard things first, building before the world notices, right? And I think the big one a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is saying no, like the clients want this, or my team member suggested that. And figuring out like, does that really fit in with where we're going, or is it okay to say no or yes, and at what time, right? Um, and so we definitely want to go deep before we build. So if you say, for example, you want to make $20,000 a month, then let's figure out why, right? And by the way, who on here, like, what's your guys' revenue right now? Because I know there's a few people on here. You can either share it or drop in the chat, like ballpark, where are you guys at right now? What was the monthly? 70, you said?
It's about 17. No, 17.
Oh, 17. Okay, got it. So then you're right around there. You're right around
Yeah.
20K a month. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. And you have eight people with you. So yeah. So I mean, definitely I can see why you want to scale it up. So we're gonna do a little exercise because like I said, guys, this is a very actionable presentation we're doing. So there's kind of like a few different levels to why you actually want to hit your goals. So let's say it's 20K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month. Doesn't really matter what your goal is. We want to figure out like what is that actually going to do for you. So write that down. Like, is it going to give you the freedom to hire more people, to delegate, to get your time back, to buy a new house, to invest in an office space? It's a little bit different for everybody. So write down like what is it that you actually want that money for? What's it going to actually change in your life besides the dollar amount that you're collecting every month, right? So I'll give you guys a second to do that. Um, and once you have that, the second one is really like thinking about why that is important to you. Like, what will actually change if you reach that goal? And what stays the same if you don't? So, do you have an idea what you like? What's the first thing you would do when you actually reach that goal, Byron?
Um, I want to be able to be in a position to offer everyone, health insurance and all
Mm,
of the perks of like a W-2.
okay. Yeah, that's a big one. And it's a big challenge. It's something that, yeah, it takes a lot of work to do. Okay. Okay, good. It's a real offer then. It's a real company.
Yeah, because it's like I've noticed, you know. I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of become everything. And so just like talent retention, I know that we've built some great people, but some of the perks that they're looking for and as they gonna get older, if that's not offered, they're gonna go somewhere that does offer it to them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, bigger firm, exactly. There's a lot of offers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why it's important to you then, because if not, you're going to lose great people. You'll attract them, you'll train them, they'll go somewhere else. And
Yep.
then your agency stays stuck, you know?
Correct.
Yes, 100%. Okay. And then why is that important to you? So who are you doing this for? Like what pain are you trying to escape? Is there something that there's like a certain growth you need to get beyond? Um, are you doing this for family? Is this for yourself? Is this kind of like your legacy? Like, why is achieving that specific goal important to you?
Um, because I I think in our industry specifically, it is very like client focus and relationship focus. And so a lot of the times, yes, in the beginning, people hired our company because of me, but I want to be able to step away from it. And so if they build trust and relationships with like the account managers that are with them for a while, then it'll retain clients. And I feel like it'll just help foster that culture of like security and also um like strength. Like we'll be known as like you go to them for this. Like, they're really great at that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Okay. And then why do you want it now? Like, why is this important to you? Yeah, this is the big
Be-
question, right?
Yeah, because if I ever have to be if I have to be on another phone call about fucking flowers for an event, I'm gonna like jump off a bridge. Like I mind you, I have an events director, and it's still, and I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like, or let me take that back. Every detail does matter, but I want to be less and less involved with client facing, and so I need to be able to hire strong, directors and managers and people that are just really, really great at that.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Okay. So this is very much about reclaiming your time, your life, so you can refocus in other areas of the business. That makes complete sense. Okay.
1,000%.
And is there something like shifting in your life? Like you're tired of repeating the same cycle? It's just like getting out of that day-to-day grind. Is that pretty much where you're at now? You're beyond it?
Um, I'm at this point where I there's like two things. Number one, I want to be able to build a second company. So years ago, my friend worked at a hedge fund and I was looking for investment. Really just kind of like, just I wanted to speak to him about how do I go about investment. And so we had the meeting and they were like, look, we have more money than we know what to do with, but we don't ever invest in services because there's a class ceiling. We
Mm,
invest in products. So they're like,
right.
if you create a ball, we'll probably throw some money at that. And so that was, a little bit of a pill, like a hard pill to swallow, but at the same time, it helped me realize something. And so I'm now wanting to build a product on the side as a whole separate company, still in the like design space. So it would go hand in hand. And honestly, I think I could get it to a point where one could feed the other, but I can't build that if I'm like busy still doing the day-to-day things that I do now.
Mm, yeah. Okay. Then it makes complete sense. Yeah, the product you can exit in a multiple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we're getting clear now, right? This is going to help push you forward. And then why do you believe you're capable of this? Like tap in your conviction. What wouldn't be here if it wasn't possible? Like, or you wouldn't be here if it wasn't possible, right? So like, why do you think you're the guy that's going to pull this off?
Um, People really like me. People really enjoy my presence, and I think honestly, number one, it's because I do a lot of what I do is faith driven, and so I feel like I always try to include God in some kind of like in some way, shape, or form. Number one, number two, I really the bottom line is I listen to understand, I don't listen to just respond, and I think
Good.
that people really do value that. And I've seen it open doors either directly for clients or indirectly if we did like a partnership with someone or something.
Okay. All right. So, okay, that's strong. I love that. Okay. You know your why. And then what's at stake if you wait? If you push this off another year and you're like, nah, fuck it. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
If you wait, it never happens. I've learned that the hard way.
100%.
If you wait, it never happens. Don't get me wrong. I think there are waiting seasons, but I think yeah.
100%. Okay. And the last one, what are you willing to give up to get it? Like comforts, distractions, old habits, excuses, your ego. What are you willing to trade to reach that next level in your business?
Um, Old habits and my ego,
What do you mean?
because those are two. Like those are one of the options. So old
No, I
habits,
know, but yeah,
yeah.
elaborate.
Oh, so old habits. I think that if there are things that I have avoided, so for example, to be honest, I haven't been like a person to time block that effectively. I feel like I could be better about that. Uh, if I haven't found ways to properly budget for things, like that could be like I feel like those are considered old habits that I would like to revamp and gain that whether it's like through learning new organizational abilities or maybe there's tools out there that I'm not familiar with that can help me be better organized. So that would be an
Mm,
example of an old habit. And then ego, I think as far as ego goes, I like to think I don't have a big ego, but I find that if I do expect things, then that is a sign of having a big ego because you shouldn't be like nobody owes me anything. So I find myself sometimes like being upset if like a partnership doesn't come through or I don't know, a lot of work goes into something that is just undervalued or not praised enough. And so I feel like I
mm.
need to let go of that because it doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. I'll definitely share some systems with you later because that's my area of expertise actually is organization. So I'll share some stuff that will really
Awesome.
help you. Awesome. Yeah. It's honestly one of the is not a sexy subject, which is why you don't hear about it often, but it's the one thing that really holds people back the most is just not being organized and you wake up and you have 100 priorities and you can't have 100 priorities. You can only have one. Like
Right.
they can all be important, but which one is the one you're going to do right now, and how do you figure that out? There's a whole thing behind it. So
Thousand
that's what,
percent.
yeah, so you already know, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So now we want to build the vehicle, right? We already know the why. Now we want to build the how, right? So I'm going to go through. We're actually going to do an exercise, and this is going to figure out how to dial in the audience, the offer, clarify the product before you build it and spend months working on it to perfect it, creating a sales process, and stop guessing and just start getting clients, right? Um, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna actually walk you guys through this. I have a huge prompt that we go through. So I'm gonna need a volunteer. I need someone to give me your idea of what you're gonna be offering to your clients, what you're good at, what it is that they want, and we're gonna take it through a process to dial it in. So what is it? Like, what's the one skill or the one problem you're gonna be solving?
Rich, give me.
Hello,
Hey, how's it going, brother?
I'm doing well. This is a great session. I'm really learning a lot.
Oh, good, good. What do you do for business?
I'm into digital consultancy. I offer digital services from digital marketing to AI agent development to web and mobile apps development and AI automation as well, content
Okay.
creation and social media management.
Is there like one that you focus on?
Well, I have an agency who that like we do these things for people, but I think I'm more of like a digital marketing slash sales person. Yeah.
Okay, you own the agency or you work for them or how's it work?
Yeah, I started it not too long ago.
Okay, and how many people do you have working with you?
Currently, we are a team of three.
Okay. Okay. And so what's your main offer? Is it the AI agents, digital marketing, sales? Those are all very different offers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I kind of like to offer them like in packages, right? So if I'm going to
Hmm.
be designing like let's say a website for a client, I like to also offer the AI agents for
Sure.
his
Yeah.
for the web as well. So it depends on what you want exactly. But let's if you want to focus on something, then maybe we can also focus on digital marketing.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. And Byron, what is it that you're working on? You want to come up with your new offer, your lead gen offer, right? For your biz dev offer? Is that the main thing?
Um,
Or is it something else?
like I guess you're saying like what's a new service I'm looking to offer,
Yeah,
or
or the service you currently have that we could dial in, or that new one that you said you're trying to offer to your clients.
um, geez, I guess it, it's between the biz dev and the content production.
Oh, that's right, content production. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your main offer right now? Do you have like a flagship offer?
I'd say it's like traditional public relations. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And where do you want it to go? What direction do you want it to go in?
Well, I think that, for example, with the biz dev, the thing is that what I've noticed with that is like, let's just say, for example, we connected our brands with a developer that's going to be working on a new high rise here in Miami. If we're able to fit in our furniture or closets, whatever that is, to that brand, and we're able to develop the content around it as it's being built. And then once
Mm,
it's already being ready to go to press, so El Decor starts writing about it, all that stuff. Now we have this like full capture or like a 360 story of how it happened, and then how from that as well we would be able to take a commission from the sales of forget landing that huge project for them. So
okay. Got it.
so
So
it's
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's a
organic,
little
happens during the process.
correct. It's a
Okay.
little layered, but yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so both of you then are in a similar situation that you have like one main traditional lead gen, like PR, web development, and then you have multiple add-ons, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for this example, I'm going to use the web development um, for the prompts. It's just simple, but it's the same thing. So let me do this. So the step number one is the skill to problem mapping. So I'm actually going to pull up Claude and drop this in. I'm going to do both actually. We'll see. So here we go. So the list of things you're good at. So PR for what is it? What kind of brands do you work with?
Um, so you can say closets, bathrooms, kitchens, finishes.
Closets, bathrooms, kitchens, and finishes.
Mhm.
I also do web design services, including AI agents. All right. So this is going to give us the 10 common problems that they're experiencing, right? So for the PR for home improvement brands, um, it's going to literally give us a list of everything, like um, all the different problems they might have in terms of the project, the typical customers, web design. It's going to give us like website crash during a major product launch, AI chatbots giving wrong information to customers. Like those are huge problems, right? Website not mobile friendly. Obviously, that's going to be a massive issue, right? Um,
Yeah.
Website lacks clear call to actions, visitors leaving confused, right? For the PR, then it's going to be like delivery delays. These are more like project based. I think
Yeah,
we probably need to dial it in. Um, but in turn, for you, it's probably more like the exposure, right?
correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll dial that in. But we're gonna pick the web design one for this process. Um, so the step two is like committing to an audience, right? So this is literally just going to say, so let's say you have like multiple ideas and you want to push one idea forward in your business. You want to go more heavily on business development or more heavily on content creation or more heavily on AI agents. Basically, what we're doing is we're just listing all of our skills and then we're saying which one is most likely to lead to high ticket sales fast, right? So basically, which one is my audience most interested in, right? And it's literally going to give us well, it says that the PR is the fastest path to a high ticket offer, right? Higher value transactions, immediate pain, urgency. So for PR, this is mostly for them wanting exposure, not the project itself. There we go. So it can clarify it. And this prompt series is to like give you gets you like 80% of the way there, 85% of the way there. When you go all the way through, there's 13 steps in this prompt and it dials it in and it gives you content then to create around it. But let's say web design. So web design for AI agents, right? Um, so give me this. We're going to do a deep dive into the target audience, right? And you can do this for any offer that you have, any service you're providing to your clients to figure out exactly why they care. So this is going to give us a deep dive into what they want, what they think they want, the lies they believe. So for website design and AI, what they think they want is a simple website that just works without ongoing maintenance. They want an AI chatbot that handles everything perfectly from day one, right? There's a whole bunch of to not to have to learn anything technical themselves. Customers to find them easily without paid advertising, right? They want Google to rank them number one without any SEO efforts. These are things that clients want, right? So we're thinking about what our clients want. They always want the best of everything with no effort at all for a low price, right? That's like what every client wants in every industry. So the lies they're believing in this case is a good website should only cost $1,000, right? Or AI chatbots work perfectly right out of the box, right? They have no idea. They have no awareness of what goes into developing the things or developing a PR campaign, right? So they just think it's going to go well and I'm going to go viral, right? And everyone's going to know me after 3 publications or whatever you do, right? The other lies they believe my industry is different, normal rules don't apply, cheaper is always better, I can learn web design in a weekend. My current website's fine. All web designers are, overpriced, stuff like that, right? The secret desires they're not saying out loud is that to look as professional and successful as their bigger competitors. That's what they want. To automate customer service, to prove their spouse or family that the business is worth the risk is the secret desire a lot of entrepreneurs have, right? To finally feel legitimate instead of like they're playing in business, right? To stop losing sleep over whether customers can find them, to have systems so good that they can take real vacations, to make enough money to quit worrying about every expense, circling back to like your desires of being able to provide healthcare, right? So these are all things that business owners want and your clients want as well, right? And what they think their challenge is. I just need a better website or designer who gets it, right? Or my current developer is incompetent, right? Or I need more traffic to my website. This goes on, and we cover what's actually holding them back, which is unwillingness to invest properly in professional solutions, micromanaging every detail instead of trusting the experts, constantly changing requirements mid-project. We all can relate to this if we're doing services, right? There's always going to be stuff where they just have no idea what you've put into it. But this is what's actually holding them back, not only from working with you, but having success once they are already working with you, right? Procrastinating on decisions, then demanding a rush delivery. Like these are really, really typical, right? But you need to know these in your messaging because that's what you can use when you're closing the deal. You have to know the audience, right? The top 3 internal blocks would be like a scarcity mindset, imposter syndrome. They fear they're not like real business owners, or maybe if they put themselves out there and then everyone knows, it's like, how am I going to look, right? Um, Control addiction. They don't want to delegate. They want to micromanage everything. The top three fears they don't want to admit: their business will fail. They wasted their family's money. They're too old or too stupid, right? Like this is all the fears that they have, right? There's all different fears. And what they hate is being talked down to, feeling dependent on others, complicated explanations full of jargon, having to make decisions about things they don't understand. Um, and then we have a summary here, and I'll send this to you guys, but this basically just goes through and explains like every worry and fear they're having, right? And so what they see every day that reinforces this is like competitors' professional websites that load fast and look modern. This is in the web design example, right? But they're looking around in the market and seeing everything that's going on, and then seeing where they're not at, and reinforces all their fears, anxiety, worries, and the problems, right? Um, this goes on for quite a while, so I won't read every single last one of them. But these are important, like quotes or things that they might actually say out loud, or at least to themselves in their mind, is like, I just need something simple that works. I don't understand why this has to be so complicated. Do I really need to pay monthly for this forever? Right? Do I really need this big project? Right? These are all the things they're actually thinking when push comes to shove and they're actually paying for services, right? So these are all really important things to actually understand. And then we get into like the emotional journey of their breakdown. And this all comes together, by the way, guys, when we actually craft the offer and the positioning. And that's how we use sales persuasion to make your offers so irresistible that they're like, I can't imagine working with anybody else. And that's really where you can scale, right? But we have to first understand it and actually look at what they're understanding and thinking, and verify that and simplify it in a way that they would be saying it to themselves, right? And so their most common complaints for web design would be like, my website looks like it's 2000 from 2005. I'm losing customers because they can't figure out how to contact me. My phone rings constantly with the same basic questions over and over. I spent $2,000 on a website that doesn't bring me any business, right? So these are all the different things they might be thinking. Unwanted feelings that they're experiencing, like embarrassment when giving out their website, frustration at being dependent on unreliable tech people, fear that their business is falling behind, guilt about not investing properly in their business growth, all these different things, right? And their hyper specific goals would be like, I want to have a website that loads fast in under 3 seconds and looks professional on mobile. I want to reduce my customer service calls. I want to rank on the first page of Google. I want to convert 15% of website visitors into paying customers instead of my current 2%, right? Like they're always going to have very, very specific goals. Whether or not they tell you about it, they're already thinking about it, and they're seeing what every other expert in your industry is talking about, and whatever YouTuber is saying they should be experiencing, and all the big claims that are out there. That's what they want. And if we can't match those big claims and actually back it up with data, then they're not going to want to work with you, right? They're always going to be looking around, and whatever company is willing to make that big claim, they're going to go with them, right? So these are the challenges that service providers are facing, right? And then we can do our belief system breakdown, right? And so this actually gets into the 10 things, the lies that they believe about the problem or solution. And I'm not going to make us go through all that because it's similar to the other one, but it gets deep. And we're also going to be able to use this then to turn it into your social media content, because you can take all of this and make content around this, because this is what they're thinking and feeling, instead of just like, hey, look at this cool project we just did. You can only, especially when you have big projects, you can only have so many testimonials. You can't be posting testimonials and pictures of your projects every single day, all the time. You also want to have other angles, right? Especially on your personal social media pages, right? And then we'll do the identity transformation. And this is really good because it actually gives like the before and after of who they're going to become by working with you. And look, it's still giving us all the data from the previous prompts. There we go. Um, Boom. Like, to give you an example on the last one, what happens if they don't solve this problem? Their business slowly dies as customers increasingly expect, you know, professional online experiences. They watch competitors capture market share with superior digital presence. Like, these are all the things that they, they miss the opportunity to position themselves as premium providers. These are all things that actually happen if they don't solve the problem. And those are the things you have to talk about. Because a lot of times clients only buy when they have fear of losing, and when you can show them the hidden money and what they're going to lose by not doing something, that's going to get them across a line a lot more than promising them what's possible. Because people are either motivated by arriving at pleasure or avoiding pain. And so if you can paint a very clear picture of what's going to happen if they don't do anything, then they're going to be like, holy shit, I got to work with these guys right now. I need to get my campaign going. We need to do this because if I don't act now, in 6 months, I'm going to be paying the price, you know? And that's what builds that urgency and that desire for them to take action now. And that's how not only you can charge more, but get them to actually buy, right? And this is the sales persuasion without just being like, oh, come on, man, you got to do it, or giving discounts and stuff like that. That doesn't work. You can, have you ever given, well, you can do it, but have you ever given someone a discount and then they don't buy? Like, it wasn't about the money. You give them every ask and then they're like, oh, we still need to think about it. We got to run it by the team again. Like, it's because they just weren't sold and they didn't want to tell you, right? And unfortunately, that happens a lot. So we have the transformation framework where we can say, like, before they were the overwhelmed owner, and then after they were, like, of course, Claude came up with these weird names, but, like a strategic business owner, they're very professional, stuff like that. We work on the names. AI gives really weird names sometimes. But the step 7 is we want to like shift their core beliefs. And this is what actually makes people buy, is when you can make them change their mind or show them something that they didn't think about before, right? So, like about an investment versus an expense. So a current belief would be like a good website should only cost $1,000 and work perfectly forever without any ongoing investment or maintenance, right? Um, the new belief that they must adopt is a professional website and AI system is a profit generating business asset that requires continuous investment and optimization to deliver maximum ROI, right? So they go from like, this is just something I have to do to this is going to make me money. And that's a lot of times the difference in them feeling good about making an investment. Because if they don't feel good about it, then they just want it to be as cheap as possible. And they're always hammering you about where's the ROI and what's this and what's that and where all the features. They're like very, very feature interested versus being more benefit interested in allowing you the time to actually deliver the results that takes time to deliver. Right. And in the ways that you can actually quantify those results. Like you mentioned earlier about you can't quantify vibes, right? So, well, these other things take time. You can't really get to social media until you're in the middle of the project. So it's not something you can like start working on from day one. It might take a year until you get them the results, however long the project takes, right? So these are the shifts that we need to the beliefs that we need to shift. And when you can use that in your messaging and in your sales calls and your presentations, that's where things get really interesting, right? Um, and I'm going to send you guys all this so you can read like every line. But now we want to map the full delivery system. And this is where a lot of people go wrong because they just list like all the stuff, the features they're going to do, but we need to actually figure out like how are we actually going to deliver this, right? So like what's the process? So it's actually going to like list out the step-by-step things we need to do for a new service delivery. And this is good because then you can outline this to the client, but in a simpler format and show them like, look, here's all the stuff we're going to do and when we're going to do it, and here's the timeline. And that really builds the belief, but also sets the expectations so you don't have all the scope creep. Because with web design, PR, I've been in businesses like that and home organization stuff. There's always a million extra things they want, and you need to be able to point at where exactly it is. So it literally breaks it down phase by phase. And then we want to simplify it and say, okay, give me this in like 3 phases instead of 10, right? because if not, then they're just going to get lost. So the three-phase delivery system for the web design would be like phase one, get my business looking professional online, right? The goal is to transform their website into something they're proud to show off. Phase two would be stop wasting time and start getting leads. So this is where you're going to eliminate the interruptions and the repetitive work that keeps them trapped in the business while generating more leads automatically through the agents, right? So they're going to handle the customer service, the inquiries, and collect more appointments. And then phase three would to become the obvious choice and raise my prices, right? That's what they want. They want to position themselves as a premium provider in their market who commands higher prices, right? And so then what they're going to get is the first page Google rankings, the conversion rate optimization, the customer testimonials, mentioning like these are all phases of things that are going to happen. It's not going to happen in 1 week, right? So then you can paint the picture of the purpose of each phase and what the benefit is, because you can't just list the features. You have to list the end result. That's what they want. They don't care about the features. They want to know, I mean, they want to see that you're doing stuff, but at the end of the day, they want to be reminded like what's going to happen? Why is it important? And who has to do all of this? Like who does the work, right? So this is all really important for actually mapping out an offer. And this is what people are going to pay a premium for because they just trust it and they believe it. Um, and then we have step 10, which is giving it a name, right? Every offer should have a good actual name to it instead of just like such and such company website project, right? We want to actually give things a name, and every add-on and every bonus that you have should also have a name and a value. So when you give it to somebody, they understand that they're getting something that's worth thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, and the time that it takes to actually deliver on those things. So then this comes up with different options for names, and of course you play with it, right? Um, and then a big one here is the content and promotion. So the prompt here says use all the data in this thread to provide me with 100 content titles answering the most basic, important, and painful questions my target audience has related to this offer, right? So this is going to give you a content framework to make sure you're talking about all those pain points that we've pulled out, their desires, the lies they're believing, their goals, their fears, everything they want, right? So for example, a professional online presence is going to give us 25 options, right? So this is why your $500 website is actually costing you $50,000 in lost business, right? That's going to catch their attention. Instead of saying like, you need a premium professional website, hey, your shitty website is costing you a lot of money. Like that's going to get their attention, right? Why your website looks amateur, even though you paid good money for it, right? That's a great hook. And then you can go deep on it and say, hey, you paid good money, but things change. This is what clients are expecting now. And this is why it doesn't look good, right? The number one thing killing your credibility before customers even call you, right? So you can then list like, here's the three things, but this is the number one. This is the number one thing, the number one reason, and why it needs to be fixed now, right? So these all come from all those fears and anxieties and goals that we pulled out already, right? And so another category would be like time management and automation, um, lead generation and sales, and then of course premium positioning and growth, right? So how to charge more, how to charge 50% more than your competitors and have customers thank you for it. And I was in that industry too. I had a really great brand and I was charging literally like 6 times more than my competitors, but I had a great funnel and a very professional experience. So when the clients got on the phone with me, they wanted to buy. They didn't want to work with anybody else. They were glad it cost more, right? Because they felt like they were getting something of a lot of significant value, right? But you can't do that if you don't have the positioning right. And so it all comes back to the messaging, right? So steps 12 is a business strategy. So this is how you actually go out and get the clients. And you don't have to run ads to do this. This is like a cold outbound strategy. Um, so it's a $0 to $1 million business plan, the website rescue service, right? And it just came up with a name. You can change it. It doesn't matter. But it comes up with different phases. So phase one is how to get to from 0 to 5K in the first month. It gives you step-by-step directions. What skills you're going to need to develop, what service offerings you need, the pricing, the customer acquisition. So what you're actually going to do to get it. Now, I have a system that I use using live events and outreach and authority assets that I create to send to people, which I'm going to share with you guys later. But this is breaking down things that you can do in different phases to actually go out. And then you get from validation optimizations. This is how you're going to get to 25K a month. And then you scale it up, right? And you just keep going and increasing the prices as you go, right? So this is the business strategy, but then we need the sales strategy. And this is where we figure out what we actually need to create and do and track to reach out because a lot of people don't know their numbers either. And so the main confusion people have with offers is they think it's just about the offer and product market fit. But if you don't do all of these things, that's why your offer isn't selling. You could have a lower price offer and still not make money or the money you want because you're just not taking the actions you need to actually get it done, right? So this is the $0 budget to get $1 million sales, right? So literally it gives you the revenue goal per month. The year one goal is $100,000, 300,000, 600,000, right? You can do this all in a year, by the way. You don't need to wait, but it just broke it down. So I would actually say I want to make 1 million in 18 months, right? And I would literally have it update that and it's going to give you literally step by step everything you need to do, all the actions you need to take to do the outbound. And on average, if you send like 35 DMs a day, but with a valuable asset like a live event like I'm doing right now, or a pre-recorded authority asset where you're sending it to people and giving them value up front, you will get a deal for every 35 people you message or reach out to, whether it's on the phone, in person, on social media. But it has to be value led. You can't just cold DM people and say, hey, I do this thing. Do you want my service? Like we all get those messages and nobody replies, right? So this is literally the strategy step by step you go through. I'll send this to you guys and let you go through it all because there's a ton of data here, but that's actually how you build it. But then you need the structure and the organization to actually put it together. So clear targets, step by step tracking, like how many outreaches do I need to do? How many events do I need to host with how many attendees to get my message out there? How many sales qualified meetings do I need to have? All of the things that you have to track so that you can not only see where you're going wrong in your funnel and your marketing and your sales, but so that you can replicate a system for other people to do it and actually build your team. Because that's how you're going to get to 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month, even your first 20,000 a month. You have to have some systems because otherwise we're just kind of waiting for those inbound leads and we're talking to people but not making real offers. And so you've got to have a targeted outreach system with a pipeline with numbers so you can actually see like, hey, I sent 100 messages like this, didn't get any results, and then I changed it to this, and suddenly I got 5 appointments, right? That's the level of detail that you want to have to actually grow the business, especially organically before you start running ads to offers, right? Um, Now I'll go over all that with you guys on another event because that's like a whole separate thing. But I know I covered a ton of data here and I've just been rambling for like an hour. What questions do you guys have?
No, this has been so great. It's funny because I feel like I've been putting some of these things into Chat GPT, but it hasn't been this. The answers haven't been this clear.
Got it.
uh, and I will say one thing. So I think I mentioned I'm literally now I'm like 4 minutes away from this like new business meeting, and I'm so happy that you said showing the process. Um, that really is like a key point in them understanding of like how do you get from A to B, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's as simple as like when you're like, let's just say you're gonna hire a plumber, like if they just show you this was a problem, this is what we did, like we had to come in and look at it and analyze it, blah blah blah, and these are the tools we use, and then it was done by this day. just seeing that process, I think to like a potential client is so beneficial. Uh, but
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. People believe what they see, not what they hear.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I'm so
Okay.
grateful for this session. Like I don't even know how I saw it on LinkedIn this morning.
Yeah, I don't know if we're connected or what, but I think it suggests it to people. So
Yeah,
well, I'm glad you got connected. I'll message you. We can have a call and I can give you some suggestions and kind of see, and we can run through this process together with your offer. Um, but I appreciate you hanging in the Uber. I'm glad that Miami
yeah,
traffic is bad, so you were able to see the whole presentation. So
exactly. And where in Miami are you?
I live in Midtown.
Oh my God, I'm in Wynwood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
PM me. Thank you so much. I literally just got here.
Okay.
Um,
Hey,
and
man.
actually, I'll invite you. We to one of our events. We're actually hosting a grand opening for a showroom this Thursday. So if you're available.
Oh, I would love to be there. I appreciate that.
Oh no, está bien,
All
está
right,
bien.
man.
¿Seguro? Yeah. Yeah.
All
Awesome.
right,
Okay.
Brian. You did
Thank you so
great.
much.
Hey, close the deal, okay?
Thank you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
See you, man. Hey there, Nick here. Thanks for watching all the way to that end of that video. Shows me you're definitely committed. Now, if you want help growing your business, crafting a high ticket offer, scaling your business, getting more leads, closing more deals, let me know. We can do a free one-on-one business strategy call. There won't be any high pressure sales on there. I want to understand what you're doing, see how it is I could help you. And of course, if it makes sense and you want to, I'll definitely make you an offer. But at the end of the day, I want to see where you're headed and how you can easily get there. So let me know. There's going to be a link somewhere around this video. You can book a call in. So you be great because nothing else pays. And we'll talk to you soon.